80 or 90% of founders don't even talk with the people who are buying their products. You can hack growth, but in the end of the day, you can't hack retention. Only great products hack retention. So you don't go and speak with the people you're trying to acquire as customers. You don't know what they care about. It's gonna work-ish, but you're not in the game of working-ish. You're in the game of winning.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to the Builders Growth Lab, episode 29. We've got a very special guest. Great insight from this dude, Andre Albuquerque. So you will learn.
Love the name.
Yeah, great name. Holy smokes, did this guy have? He was a savage. Great insight on builders, product market fit, VC versus bootstrapped, how to craft an offer. Like this guy was solid guest. So
a lot of, I think I said insightful probably 20 times today already, but again, everything that he shared, I don't have any other word for it. It was just really cool. And honestly, a very entirely different or unique perspective than other people we've spoken to, but just, kind of threw some things out there that made you think a little bit more. Yeah. And again, just different than some people we've spoken to in the past.
Yeah. You definitely will want to tune in to today's interview. And I think you'll definitely walk away feeling inspired and energized. So
that voice you just heard, that was Mallory Lohr. She is an agency founder and she's formerly head of marketing at Bolt.new. And previously you heard Connor Douglas. He is an agency founder as well. He's been in the marketing agency space for way too long. Way too long.
We got to get this guy out.
Been chasing other people's dreams, man. I got to start chasing my own,
Yes, that's right. And myself, I'm Charlie. I've got the SEO background. I should back up for a second. Connor's got the paid ads and email marketing background. Mallory Lohr has got the community and branding expertise.
I feel like my three of us weekly. I'm some days one week I'm digital marketing.
You know what?
Let's talk about this. Okay, because I did the intro last week and I was like, he's our paid ads expert. But then today I was listening to you talk about, yourself to Andre, and you were like, explain that you're a full stack digital marketer. So I'm like, I'm going to re-explain next time what Connor's all about.
Yeah,
but speaking of last week, I do need to point out that Mallory did say I was an SEO god. So that was a nice tire pump. I appreciate that. Yes. I'll put that in the show notes for the next episode. Let's get ripping on this. Connor, what have you been up to this past week?
All right, so besides being a full stack digital marketing specialist, I want to change the title every week, actually, just to really throw people for a loop.
What does this guy do? Is he even a marketer? Maybe he's not.
No, of course. But anyway, so
I can tell by how jaded you are with some marketing efforts. Yeah, you've definitely been in the space for a while.
A long time, maybe too long. Anyway, so this past week, I don't know, it's been nice. Again, kind of like the downturn of Black Friday, Cyber Monday, holiday stuff is all kind of squared away. So I've actually been able to spend a lot of time working on call them passion projects, or really I'm just getting into building a little bit more. And I've talked to you, Charlie, about this quite a bit, but I don't have any AI agents, and I sorely need AI agents. And I'm talking about the most simplistic stuff, right? Like I use fireflies.ai for transcriptions. I have it now hooked up to Make, where it's like transcriptions created, it shoots over into Make. I then use AI to extract tasks from that, and then I put it into my own project management dashboard, right? Where I can review it. It's because my old way was you'd have a meeting, I'd go back into the transcript myself, look for things, or write down just notes, whether on paper or on the computer. And I have to go back in and now basically regurgitate those notes into my Asana dashboard, right? So listen, sounds really, really minimal in terms of how much time it takes. But when you add that up over 5 days a week and then 4 weeks a month, right? And it's all this, it's that's hours that I'm now saving, where even if it's 10 or 15 hours in a month, that's 10 or 15 hours I can dedicate to bringing in client acquisition, just catering to clients a bit more, being more strategic, like I'd like to be with some of the clients I have. So building
betting on sports.
Yep, betting on sports. Okay, I may have bet over the weekend, no big deal, no harm, no foul, didn't win anything. But anyway, you'll know I win when I hop on the pod and there's
it's
a tropical background. Yeah, it'll be the first update. I'll be in like Jamaica or something. I'll be like, hey guys, you're like, what are you doing
Clean
there?
shaven too.
Yeah, exactly. But it's been a lot of building and just kind of curiosity into what else I can do because I haven't been doing that for the past couple of months, and I really missed it because I was so head down into work. So that I'm looking at some other things to do in terms of building. I've spoken to you guys about it. I don't want to talk too much yet until I finally have it kind of validated and proofed out. But yeah, it's been really, really fun to get back into that and start building stuff. And
yeah, there's nothing better than like having the space for deep focus.
Yep. So it's been awesome. Fun. I can't complain about that. And then Charlie, you'll like this. I'm gonna go. Well, you won't like who I'm seeing, but I'm going to a hockey game on Monday.
Rangers.
Yeah, I'm going to a Rangers game.
Oh,
so
okay.
Forgot who they're playing, though. But yeah, I got hooked up with like some really nice like sweet tickets from somebody I knew.
Hell yeah!
Who are they playing?
So, I don't know yet. They'll lose. It's the Rangers. I don't expect much from them.
It doesn't matter, so. Charlie, who they're playing.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't even matter. Okay.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. And by the way, speaking of the Rangers, I'll send it to you after the show. I saw a Bob Ross clip, and it's like when the clip starts, it's like the canvas, and it's an open net. And it's Bob Ross. He's like, all right, Rangers fans, we're all in unison here. It's Rangers players, go ahead and put the puck in the net right here. We're just gonna
it's really funny. That's a good one.
Have you seen it?
No, you got to send it to me. Oh my god,
it's so I saw it. I was like, oh.
There's another one I should send you. Somebody did like they must have used AI to like generate like the upcoming 24-25 NHL season, and all the teams, they're like climbing up this like big icy mountain, right? And it's all the Stanley Cups at the top. All of the teams have like their top players like, skating towards it or climbing the mountain to get to the Stanley Cup. The Rangers goalie Shesterkin is literally facing the other way and skating away from where the Stanley Cup is. And it's not a joke. Like the NHL literally put this out, and I'm like, oh god. I was like, it's brutal. So perfect. So as a Rangers fan,
Mallory, for context, the Rangers used to be like pretty good. Their goalie is like really freaking good. He's like top 5 in the world. He's like really good. But the guy just gets peppered every single game. He just gets peppered and like as like one man can only do so much in a team sport, especially a position like goalie. So I think one of these games this season. Oh, and by the way, the Avs played the Rangers on a Saturday morning game, which is awesome. You just wake up, you go to the gym, you come back. There's freaking live NHL. Yeah, and the Avs came back to win. And I think the Rangers should have won that game. Yeah, absolutely. But the Avs are a buzzsaw right now. They're the best team.
Have you ever been to the outdoor games, like where they'll do them, like the Stadium Series games? Like, I went to one a few years ago. It was awesome. I
was the one. I'll tell the story at a future. When we get a Scandinavian founder on here, I'll tell the story. But speaking of an outdoor game, so they do the alumni games,
Yeah.
And here in Denver, this was about 8 years ago. This is when I peaked. 8 years ago, it was the
What? We have not peaked yet. What are you saying, Charlie?
I was just letting that go.
Don't talk about yourself like that, okay?
You peaked as what, like a introvert, like hockey player,
like hockey,
what?
yeah.
Okay,
so,
okay.
I know.
This is what we
I'm
say.
mostly teasing, but
like
bullying.
Charlie peaked when he was like 15. So it wasn't 10 years ago. You and I, though, Connor, we're on the up and up.
I'm on the up and up. Yeah, my hair is
up.
Perfect today. Like, I mean, like, I am.
Mustache.
The mustache is on point. Like, jeez.
During the outdoor game, so it's the Avs and Red Wings. So, many, like in the late 90s, the Avs and Red Wings like hated each other, right? That rivalry was unbelievable. It was incredible hockey. Like
Red Wings are Detroit, right?
Yeah. Red Wings Avalanche, because the Avs player hit the Red Wing player from behind, basically crushed his face. He hit him so hard, his molars like broke into his jaw. Like he hit him it was basically a car crash, but the guy's face went into the boards, and he smoked him. And he got one game. Like if you do that in today's, this is like 96, he did that, 96 playoffs. This is the playoffs in the mid 90s. If he did that hit in today's NHL, he'd be deported. He'd be off to like a Turkish prison or something, like that kind of hit back then.
NHL got soft, huh?
Yeah. They as soft as warm birthday cake. Yeah.
Did you want to say baby shit? You can say it.
Yeah. As my little coach used to say. Yeah. So then, because of that hit through the 90s, it was just like not only the best two hockey teams playing, with Hall of Famers.
But like real fighting.
But like legit, like goalie fights, like fights in the stands, like media fights. So when the Avs and the Red Wings played outdoors, there was a alumni skate before the actual NHL game. So the alumni skate was Friday. The NHL game was Saturday, but the Avs were terrible. So the buzz in the city was around the alumni game because like the older players are going to get back together and like they're going to see each other and they still don't like each other. Well, that was on a Friday. Friday night was the alumni game. That previous Tuesday, they all came out to our skate, and I didn't know that. So I pull into the parking lot and I see like 3 ex-NHLers that I grew up watching, and they were like carrying their bags and they have their gear with them. And I'm like, what the hell are these guys doing? And I walk into the room and there's Hall of Famer like Joe Sakic. And then there's like Pierre Turgeon and there's like Stefania. There's like half the team because they still hate the Red Wings and they're not going to lose to them.
It's hilarious.
Which is pretty cool. So I'll send pictures. I mean, nobody believes me, but we do have video and there are a couple pictures.
I believe you, Charlie. I believe you.
We believe you, Charlie.
Yeah.
And so we all stayed and had beers and they still don't like the Red Wings. So yes, all that to say, I'm very familiar with the outdoor game, and we did go to the one the next night. So yeah, they're playing. Are they playing in January in outdoor game? It's like them.
I think they do it like they do it every year, like somewhere.
Okay.
So
yeah, all that. Yeah, that was a whole spinoff. So
all right, enough about hockey. I can see Mallory over there.
Mallory,
she's grinding her teeth. She's like, stop it, stop
sports,
now.
Team
Stop
sports.
talking about sports and stuff. No, I'm kidding. It's fine. It's fine. Okay, last week it's one of those weeks where like you have so many things planned that you don't get a second to breathe, and then you need a weekend from your weekend. So I'm a little bit in that boat, not in a bad way. Had a great week. First things first, I launched an IRL meetup for women in tech. So
I saw that.
If you are a woman who's listening to this and you're here in San Francisco, I'm throwing a sort of coffee and park walk on December 17th, and I'd love to see you and I'd love to meet you. So we have 17 women goings, and they come from all sorts of, like, they're founders, they're marketers, they're agency owners. It's truly a mix. So I'm really excited about that. I also started a leadership course last week that is going to be something I do over the next 12 months for 3 hours with a group of 10 other strangers. And so that was really interesting. We talked about like the whole course was about awareness and being present, but we had to do really interesting things like introduce ourselves, but in a way with ego. The first 5 minutes of the class was completely silent. So just sitting in silence with 10 strangers and really sort of being present in that, and then kind of regurgitating how we felt about that. Like, it's really interesting. And I'm really excited to sort of see how much I learn in the next 12 months. But so that's something else that I started in the last week.
Interesting.
What else? I had brunch club, a white elephant party, a surprise birthday party though. And this was really cool at a place here in the Bay Area called Activate. And it's like, I don't even know how to explain it, but there's 9 different rooms, and every single room you have all these different cooperative or competitive games you can play with friends. So for example, one room just had an entire grid with different colored like tiles on the floor, and then you'd be in this room and the record would be like, everyone jump on blue, and then you got to jump on blue, everyone run to red, jump on red. So it was like this super cool interactive just experience that I mean I was sweating a lot because you're running around, but it was really fun. So highly recommend doing something like that as an activity, especially if you're like into escape rooms or what have you. That's and you want to kind of do something interactive. And then other than that, I've just been in my Pilates and yoga game, and that's been great. So
what kind of yoga are you doing again?
I mostly do like hot vinyasa flow yoga. So yeah.
I was at the gym this morning stretching and realized how bad I need to do yoga or Pilates or something.
I'm just like a stretcher or yoga just stretching on your own.
No, I was just stretching. Like I'll go to the gym probably a few days a week. So, and again, I mostly do like weights, but I stretch before to like, loosen up. I don't want to go in anything stiff, but it's like, I'm realizing that when I'm stretching and like my legs are sore in the same areas, like without even doing a leg workout the day before, it's like, there's like mobility issues, like there, like flexibility issues like, where it's like,
It's like we're all
Yep.
getting older and we have
sitting.
to we're sitting, we're getting older and we have to work on our flexibility. Like it's imperative that we do it's just as important I think as like strength training and cardio and all this other stuff that we do. So this is your sign, Connor, to get into yoga.
I know. I need
Get
to
it.
do it.
Yeah,
I need to do
get
it.
it.
I think I'm gonna
Get
go.
And if you do hot yoga, you're going to be working up a sweat. You know what I mean?
that.
And
Hot-
you're
I
going
like
to be
sweating. I don't mind
stretching.
That is gnarly. Hot yoga. I thought it was just kind of like, okay, whatever.
That's what it was. I am
And then-
so glad we had this conversation. Sorry, Charlie, to cut you off, but I need a portable sauna like you have, Mallory.
Ah, yes.
Someone asked me for my Christmas wish list, and I know they're like pretty
Yeah.
inexpensive. And I'm like, I would
Yeah.
love an outdoor sauna. Like,
It is
you put
so
it outdoors, right?
inexpensive. No, I actually have a mudroom downstairs and we keep it in. And then if we use it, we just open the windows a little bit, but like it's indoors. So, and it's a pop-up and it only takes up a corner of our room. But yeah, I highly, highly recommend
You
getting
can
a
put it
portable
outdoors if
sauna.
you wanted, right?
You can put it outdoors, you
Sweet.
can put it indoors, but yeah, it's pretty inexpensive. So
Tiny New York City apartment. I can't. If I put that in somewhere in here, I don't know. I won't have room to like walk by my kitchen or something.
and it makes sense. It makes sense. We have a house here in San Francisco, so it's not like super big, but we have the space for
The
it.
space. Yeah.
You know, yeah. Okay.
Sorry,
Get
Charlie.
yourself
I got so excited over remembering the sauna. I'm like,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
excited. I'm writing
Dude,
it down.
sauna. I was in his steam room this morning. So,
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Every morning I'll just go nuts on it.
Oh yeah, you told us this. That's what you said. You do the bike and the
I
sauna.
just pedal as hard as I freaking can for 30 straight minutes. Just go ham on a bike and then rinse off and just go sit in a steam room.
Oh, okay. So that's another thing. So last week I did the trifecta. So the trifecta is the following: Pilates, yoga, and cycling are the 3 workouts I did last week.
Ooh.
We could do a cycling. It's like it's a cycling class. Like you are in your butt is in a seat. You're not like moving anywhere, but it's really intense. I think you'd like it.
Yeah, I would do that. I would be down for that. I played hockey on Friday, and it was a really fast skate. There's a couple pros and some guys that play like really high level. You know, playing goalie, you're just back and forth. I'm still sore. And we're recording on Tuesday freaking morning, and it's the adductor abductor. When you sit for so long, kind of what you were saying, and you're just, like, you don't stretch.
Yeah, it's exactly where it is.
You're
Adductors,
just tighten up so much, and I've realized like, oh man, like I'm getting old, but I think I eat better. I used to eat just like a disgusting animal, and like I eat better, but like I stretch now, and so that definitely helps. But and the glutes too, the butt, you know, you got to stretch that. You got to throw your legs over your back, you know, your heel.
You got to do the lunges, you got to do the child pose, you got to do the downward dog, you got to do all of it. Okay. Sounds like we need to do a joint yoga class.
I would be down for that.
I'll teach you my ways.
We got to plan our trip here to Colorado for next month too.
We do. The gang's gonna get together. We got to talk about that.
Yes. Oh yeah. Speaking of that, all right, I'll jump into what I've been into.
Yeah.
So my girlfriend's parents are coming into town. So they live outside of Charlotte. So my girlfriend's mom and dad live outside of Charlotte. So they're buzzing here to Denver on Thursday. And we've got a couple condos up in the mountains. My girlfriend's sister and her husband are coming in, and their kid are coming in from Vancouver. So her family is coming into Denver. So we've got a couple condos up in the mountains. So in Winter Park, where we talked about staying. So that will be fun. So we're there from Thursday to Sunday. So we've been doing some planning. There's a cool brewery in the area. We're going to do some snow tubing, some
fun.
We're going to go see reindeer. There's reindeer at the base of the mountain, which should be really cool. And then just going to the top, hopping on the gondola. It's going to be unbelievably cold. I like cold weather. I don't know how they're going to react to that cold of a weather, because that kind of wind chill when you're at the top of a mountain, like,
wow.
You know, even during the summer on my bike, when it, you know, the wind blows pretty fast, it can get kind of cold. So I'm not sure what it's going to be like over the weekend. So that will be cool. Planning for that. Doing my Christmas shopping, which has been cool. I'm going to open up my notepad because I take little notes here. And Papa Bear's birthday party. His dinner was a Cheesecake Factory. That was cool. I love
the Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah.
Classic.
And and then I started, but I did not finish. To me, look, this might open up a can of worms, but one of the best movies ever made, my Mount Rushmore, The Dark Knight. Started
that's
that last
easily
night. Yeah,
great movie.
Freaking unbelievable. Incredible movie. I love it. Even the soundtrack, just straight bang. Have you seen it, Mallory? You've never seen The Dark Knight?
I don't think so.
Like the Christopher Nolan Batman movies.
I mean, maybe look, I'm fucking sick and tired of Marvel and DC movies and anything. Like, I'm so sick and tired of it. I probably have seen The Dark Knight though. Yeah, I've seen The Dark Knight. I have, because Heath Ledger's in it. Heath Ledger. Yeah. I've seen it. Yes, I have. Sorry, I don't mean to be a hater.
Charlie's just like staring, like burning the hole into Mallory through the Zoom.
I know. I'm just like, I was just talking to a friend about this. I was just talking to a friend about how much I fucking hate superhero movie, or just like there's an oversaturation of them. So, but yes, I have watched The Dark Knight, and I'm also familiar. There's a game.
It is oversaturated.
Oh, there is.
Okay. The whole superhero thing.
Sorry, I'm being a hater. I'm sorry, Charlie.
This is almost going to be your last episode.
To be fair, The Dark Knight, like those came out before like the whole superhero thing was like a really big shtick. Like that was like the beginning of it, and then Marvel.
It was iconic. Like The Dark Knight is actually a good movie. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I agree though. I have friends who are just like super like into like the Marvel stuff, and I'm just I don't get it. Like, they're cool movies. Don't get me wrong. I think
most people don't. I think people that even like Marvel movies that I know that are like, we need a change of pace here. Like the movies, right, in the last 10 years are either like they're redos of older movies, or they're fucking superhero movies, like or like a sequel. Like that's it.
Somebody was talking about this. I saw an interview where it's like nobody's making new original movies anymore. It's all like it's IP based off of like things that have been really popular in the past, right? Yeah. Or remakes or sequels, because nobody can come up with an original idea because they don't want to take the risk. Like, it's not because they can't come up with it, it's because they don't want to take the risk of throwing it out there and it bombing. But you also have the other side. What if you have an original idea and it's amazing and it's a box office hit, right? Yeah. So, people play it very safe with movies these days, which is unfortunate.
Dark Knight, Charlie.
All that to say, I passed out like an hour into it. I just kind of like dozed off.
This is 40.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, pretty much.
Wait, you're 40, Charlie?
Yeah, I'm an 85
really?
birth year. Yeah. Do I look 40? Do I look older than 40?
No. I don't know. Wait, Connor, are you 40?
No.
Are you in your 30s?
I'm 37.
Okay.
Right.
Sorry. Okay. I'm 33, so I'm the baby here.
Charlie, would you think I was like 50?
Oh, you're a pup, Mallory.
I know.
Wait, how old are you, Mallory?
I'm 33, but I'm still,
to be 33 4 years ago.
That wasn't that long ago, Connor. The fuck?
I think I hit puberty when I was 34.
Honestly, that sounds about right. I don't feel like men mature until they're like in their 30s, unfortunately.
Exactly. I was talking to a friend about that. They some peak in middle school.
Some peak at 15.
Peak at 15. Some haven't peaked yet, like Connor and I.
Yeah. So. I'm just waiting.
Leave me alone, Mallory.
I know. I need to stop bullying you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I will say, lastly, we were putting plans together, our hockey group, because I cannot freaking wait. Every 4 years, it is almost time for Winter Olympics. February 12th, USA versus Latvia.
That's in Italy, right, this year?
Yeah.
Winter Olympics?
Yeah, I cannot wait for Winter Olympics. I freaking love it. That's like on my bucket list. Going to a party there or something, or just watch. Exciting. Yeah.
I know the Olympics is coming to LA in the next few years. Like, that could be easy for you to get to.
FIFA is coming this summer, I think. And then the Olympics is coming in 2 years.
Okay. 2 years.
FIFA is insane.
Dude, they're so greasy. They're they're the grease. Well, I probably shouldn't say. They might send somebody after me. There's connections, man, in FIFA. Be careful. Yeah, and we also do have a listenership in Latvia. So good luck, Latvia. But I hope both teams
Good
have
save,
fun.
Charlie.
Yeah,
good save.
Both teams learn something and have fun. But yeah, February 12th, first game, USA versus Latvia. USA is going to crush them. So I think in the final it'll be US and Canada. Canada's going to be that's a dangerous hockey team. So and also we got up the new landing page for our rebrand, Billy's Growth Lab, provided by Mallory Lore. That was a very extensive and comprehensive document. I read that. I was like, whoa, this is no joke.
I know I went hard. I went hard on Friday. I was like, I got to get this in a good spot. Like, and
Yeah.
I love writing briefs. Like for
Oh,
some
do you?
reason,
Okay.
I'm one of those crazy people that like to write creative briefs. But
Yeah, it looked good. I gave it to our artist and he had some questions and then we just kind of went back and forth a little
okay,
bit.
cool.
And yeah, so that is up. So the landing page, again, the coming soon page on the new domain, buildersgrowthlab.ai. That's a newsletter there. You'll get weekly updates. Connor, what they'll get like weekly updates on like paid ads and SEO.
Yeah, you get weekly updates. We'll cover the most previous week's episode. A few just quick bullet points from there in case you guys couldn't listen in on it, and then there'll be some takeaways from myself, you, Charlie, and Mallory. Also, just kind of on all of our experience and where we kind of specialize in. So you'll get takeaways for paid customer acquisition, how you look at it from an SEO perspective, from full stack digital marketing specialist perspective, or just a paid perspective, community branding. Mallory's really going to bring that to the table. So something to definitely sign up for. And again, just kind of get some nice insights from people who've lived it, breathe it, and do it every day.
Yeah.
Dope.
Yeah.
Badass.
Absolutely. One random question before we get into the interview. Did any of you see season 5 of Stranger Things?
I did.
Okay.
No.
Did you watch
I'm still
it?
on season 1.
I love it.
It was good.
It's
it was
so
good.
good. It's
It
so
was
good.
first episode a little drawn out for me, but it's like then you really got into it and it was like great. Like, and of course the last episode was awesome. So they really teed it up very nicely for Christmas Eve, right? It's Christmas Eve or the next 3?
So it's Christmas Eve or the next 3, and then New Year's Eve will be
That's
the
the
last
one, right?
episode. But I just feel like I'm kind of in a rabbit hole right now of listening to all the theories on how the show's going to end, and
my feed is filled with it. My algorithm is all Stranger Things right now.
Yeah. Okay.
This
But I don't
is
want to
it?
say any spoilers. So this is the last season. Yeah. This is it. Like there's 4 more episodes that
It
will
only
be
took
released.
them like 10.
I
What was
know.
this? Like 10 years
I mean,
now,
a
though?
long time.
Has it
You know,
been
it's
10 years?
interesting.
Yeah.
It's interesting because my husband and I were talking last night about how the equivalent of Stranger Things and how long it's been going for is kind of reminiscent of Harry Potter and how long, right? Because when they started movie 1, they were babies. Like if you go back to season 1 of Stranger Things, they're babies.
I
And
was
now
just
they're like
thinking that.
all adults now, like they're young adults now. So it's truly one of those shows where you get to like, that you get to see the characters grow up.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
They have like
Anyhow,
kids and
okay.
are voting and driving.
We'll talk about this. We'll talk about this again in end of December.
Yes, we will. We will
Yes.
resurface Stranger Things for sure.
Okay.
Charlie,
all
catch
right.
up. You got a lot of time to catch up on
Okay,
all 5
so
seasons.
what should I watch first? Stranger Things or Harry Potter?
Stranger Things.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I think Stranger Things because it's relevant and but I mean you should watch Harry Potter because to me that's the holidays I go back and every single year I watch every single movie. So because I'm a crazy millennial like that, I guess. But
Sure.
so you can't go wrong with watching Harry Potter movies at this time of year, is what I'm
Us
saying.
millennials love nostalgia. Anything for nostalgia.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh.
All right. And then real quick, what is BGL getting into? I'm going to say BGL, Builders Growth Lab.
Builders
getting
Growth
into,
Lab.
Next year. We talked about some build-a-thons, hackathon. What's the difference between a build-a-thon and a hackathon?
I don't think there's much of a difference. I think so. When I joined Bolt, I talked a lot about this word, about the difference between hackathon and build-a-thon. And the way that the word hackathon originated is literally from a bunch of developers going in and hacking specific products and really testing security, right? And then eventually that kind of turned into like, how fast can you code a product? In a specific amount of time. When I worked at Discord, we did a hack week where the whole company for an entire week was not working on like our normal sort of everyday things. And we all paused, we got into teams, and then we all had a specific project to focus on for the week that would improve the product or improve the community or improve the brand, right? But now with this rise of vibe coding and the fact that you don't need to know code to build something, you're seeing the word build pop up a lot. Like when we talk to Andre in a little bit here, you'll hear that he also uses the word build a lot. Look at us. We're called the Builders Growth Lab. I think like it makes more sense to use the word build versus hack now that we're in a different phase of technology. And so there's no difference really. It's just a positioning thing. Like, and here's the thing too, like when we went to go and advertise for the hackathon, I was like if we're targeting prosumers and a lot of the everyday type of person, they're going to see, oh, hackathon, that's not for me. I'm not a developer. Whereas I think you could take the word buildathon and make it more friendly for prosumers, if that makes sense too. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
So we talked about doing that, and then I don't know, more like in person. Well, I guess buzzword now, IRL, like more stuff,
IRL,
more like doing that.
Yeah, IRL, love it.
Yeah. IRL, yeah. I don't know, what else are we talking? I don't know. I want to do like other stuff, maybe like. So I've grown up playing hockey. I follow a podcast called Spit and Chicklets. And they take retired NHLers and they go out and they play golf with them. And there's just a camera crew, and it's great content because the stories that come out, and of course they're just slamming beers. Because like retired NHL players are like degenerates.
Degenerates, yeah. I was literally about to use that word.
Absolute degenerates, and they are so funny because like they're long gone. They're like in their mid-30s, so they got like what do they have to hold back on? And so it makes for like really funny content. Really good content. I don't know if there's anything equivalent for like we could do with founders. I was thinking like laser tag, but can you take cameras inside of a laser tag? Like,
we could do a lot of things if we get creative. We can ask for permission. I was even thinking I have someone on my side that I work really closely with on content, and if we all meet together in real life, I want him to like follow us around and vlog the whole thing. So
cool.
Like that would be fun. So
like in Winter Park, like Colorado.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, help take photos, help vlog, help like make short form content that we could use for LinkedIn. We can talk about it off the pod, but I have a lot of ideas.
Cool.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this interview with Andre coming up here, this is a very, very informative, insightful, pardon me.
Insightful. Thank you.
Insightful. Yes. Insightful.
Appreciate that.
Interview. We had him for an hour, and man, he's doing cool shit between... I can't even, is it Builders Camp? What was it called? Sorry, Andre.
Yes.
Builders Camp. Yeah.
Yep, Builders
he
Camp.
just rebranded it too, which was crazy.
He did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a month ago, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
pretty recently.
So builderscamp.com. You'll learn product market fit, what makes a good founder, difference between VC and angel, or pardon me, VC, angel. VC, bootstrapped, what it's like. He's been through both. Of course, we started off with SEO.
And then I think he also was able to kind of break down what it really means to be customer obsessed.
Yes.
And so I think there will be a lot of learnings for builders there.
Dope. All right, let's jump in.
Let's do it.
Enjoy it.
All right, we are here with Andre Albuquerque, badass name. Thank you for taking time out of your day, Andre, and joining us on the Builders Growth Lab podcast.
Awesome, Charlie. Appreciate the invite. Excited to be here.
Nice to have you here, Andre.
Yeah, can you please let our listeners know who you are, kind of like what you're doing right now and what you've done in the past?
Yeah, so as Charlie said, my name's Andre. I lead a couple companies. I think the main one is called Builders Camp. We're basically helping shape tomorrow's product builders, teaching, training them, coaching them, guaranteeing that they're ready to build whatever products they believe the world needs. Also lead a couple of other companies under a holdco, so building a portfolio of businesses and internet companies, super operator AI, working with businesses, helping shape AI skills for teams and companies at large, and a couple of others, but I'll focus on these two. I think that kind of makes up the majority of my time. And then also write a lot on LinkedIn. Love to build the knowledge base that then I get to apply into my own companies. And that kind of makes up what I do today.
Okay. And while doing this research, I mean, Claude was doing the research, SEO came up. So what's your background in SEO? Because I've been in SEO for, it seems like too many years.
Too long.
Yeah,
Charlie loves SEO.
I kind of hate it now. But,
well, yeah, now it's a funny time for SEO. So before this current stage of life, we're building businesses, building products. I've worked as a product leader across multiple startups, VC-backed companies. And I think, as everyone knows, you raise money, you're going to have to deploy all that money. A lot of that money is to acquire customers. So a lot of my work building products and also working on the growth side and the marketing side was to guarantee people landed on our real estate, our internet businesses. So SEO ended up being a significant part of my role. Before startups, I was at Google, so I also brought a bit that. Yeah, I mean, now the world is very different on the SEO side. I think we're going to talk a bit about acquisition and whatnot, and how that is changing a lot on how to acquire users. So I think the SEO part, I mean, as any person working in product, you got to understand where customers are searching for you and what's resonating with them, because it's also not just getting them to land on your product. It's actually showing them something that matters to them, that solves their problem, and that they say, yes, this is what I want to buy. This is what I want to use. So I think it's a combination of everything, like funneling people through, but then engaging them, getting them to convert, and getting them to realize, yeah, this is a good choice. This is the thing that I wanted to use versus everything else that I searched for. So I think that's kind of the relationship between product and SEO on my background.
So, and that's really interesting too, Andre, because we just had an episode last week where Charlie kind of talked through, our listeners on everything SEO and how it's changed over time, right? Especially with AI being such a big player in the space now. What have you seen change from maybe when you first started using SEO, how it drives acquisition to now with the use of AI and how many people are leveraging that for it?
Yeah. Oh man, one of the first team. It's a crazy story, but like the first team I joined at Google, this is like 12 years ago. It was a team called SQ, so search quality team. So this was the team that was responsible with assessing all the backlinks, all the content, all the flagged stuff that the algorithms and the Google bots were kind of not sure if they could rank or not. So they would send to a human in the loop. Now we call it human in the loop. Back in the day, it was a search quality team. And the crazy stuff people used to do back in the day, the white on white, the 1 pixel stuff, like we caught everything, but like people are super creative. And I think that it then evolved into more on the content side, the importance of backlinking, and then the marketplaces of backlink. So we saw a lot of that also growing. When I was trying to grow a couple startups, we invested in literally everything. And content ended up becoming a big engine, which then was satellite content or affiliation, or there's a lot of gaming around this. And in the end, we could see the evolution and the impact of SEO, organic acquisition, search acquisition into the business. And eventually, and now, content is becoming a bit commoditized to the point that it's going to end up it's going to actually reverse. Because now the AI generated content is so easy to do that the algorithms are evolving to a point that the AI generated content is a bad type of content, and they're being able to surface what's good human or as 0% AI as possible. And now it seems like human generated content is gaining a kind of a spotlight again, which is a weird thing. You wouldn't expect that to be a thing, but it's kind of gaining a lot of traction. So it's changing significantly. But in the end of the day, look, what we're seeing is that the fundamentals, the first principles, will always remain the same, which is until agents start buying stuff, which kind of started this year. Like you've seen, like Black Friday was skyrocketing with like agent commerce or agentic commerce. But until it's like the kind of the default or a significant percentage on the day-to-day, humans are still the ones buying. And traffic that converts still needs to convert because a human looked at something and said, this is what will solve my problem, which is in the end the role of product, right? So the first principles are still there. Independently of the gaming people do with SEO and the evolution, you'll always need a human to land on something, to read something, to engage with it because it resonates, and then to go through a funnel or UX that says, this is where you buy and this is where you're retained. That in the end will still be the core principle of SEO that wins on the SEO side.
Yeah, so it's thanks for that too. Like very insightful, great feedback. And I guess what I find a lot of mistakes maybe certain people make, single business operators, startups, it's like they lean so much on AI to just do SEO for them, right? You can just feed it keywords, say, I want you to focus on this. You give it a structure in terms of hierarchy, H1, H2, et cetera, right? And it throws it up on a page, but without any humanity to it, human element of let me go in and edit this and make it more unique. Let me actually talk about it from a perspective that doesn't sound like it's from AI, helps it tremendously. Do you see with other colleagues or just people you speak with, do you see that getting lost on a lot of people where they're just so dependent on the AI and whatever the output is? It's like, great, this is awesome. I'm going to post it and, hope for the best.
No, yeah, 100%. It's happening. It's happening. And The crazy thing is, I'm not saying that AI can't do a lot of that, but to trigger it to do the right thing, you still need yourself or someone in your team. But if we're talking about small businesses or solo businesses or even creator-led businesses, typically small companies, there's still a human that has to trigger the AI to do the stuff that human believes will work. And if that human is starting from the wrong place, which is I call it the comfort of four walls, which is you don't leave your office, your home, your space. You don't go and speak with the people you're trying to acquire as customers. You don't know what they care about. And it's not going to be an LLM telling you what they care about. People know what they care about. The LLM infers out of hundreds of thousands of millions of data points what eventually someone will care about. Like I teach product, both in my company, at university level, across organizations. And one of the things I tell people is that, look, the difference between personas and people who understands, for example, jobs to be done, is that personas, they rely a lot on fictional characters. It's like John Doe or Jane Doe. They don't exist. They kind of aggregate characteristics of people, but then they create a fictional person that you can't talk. That's the same thing as an LLM. Right? You can't talk to the person who will buy. You can talk to an LLM who's inferring from millions of people, but they don't exist. A jobs to be done focuses on an observable situation, a person. That is someone you can talk, you can see the details, you can see that fear when people are thinking about switching whatever product they're using for something new, and they'll tell you their reasoning and what they care about and the emotional aspect of things, which often LLMs can't. So I think if you start from there, if you have actually a great foundation of research, of discovery, of talking with people, and then you use that as your first principles to feed an LLM that works on top of that, that will at least give you a bit of a differentiation versus just go bluntly into an LLM, do the work for me and pray for the best. Like, it's going to work-ish, but you're not in the game of working-ish. You're in the game of winning. And I think to win, you need to start from those first principles of what do the people who I'm trying to get as customers really care about? Because that's going to make the difference between product A and product B. And you want to be the product that wins.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think the way that you're also breaking it down reminds me of sort of the components of what it takes to actually build a real community that will advocate for you and, of course, be loyal to you and your product. And so you have turned users into advocates multiple times. Like, what are the earliest signals that someone is ready to become an ambassador for what you're building, or a core user, or a super fan, or whatever you want to call them? And how do you really sort of design a system that naturally sort of creates advocacy, right, instead of really forcing it for your users?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. So I'm going to talk a lot about product. That's my area, right? Look, in the end, one of the best partnerships any company can have is the partnership between growth and product. Why? Because growth tends to work on top of funnel. Right. So if they are empowered, they will lead and generate a strategy that will not only get customers into the real estate, I call the real estate, but like the product, the app, whatever it is, and then convert them into becoming users. Right. And product controls that real estate and what's there. Maybe growth can control what goes in, but product, in the end of the day, they're going to be the ones guaranteeing it's built, shipped, and it's in production, ready to prime time. Right. So that partnership needs to be very close together. Why? Because look, in the end of the day, a customer will only retain with a product that meets the promise that they saw and that led them to buy. If then the product doesn't meet the promise, or the gap is too big from promise to delivery, they're going to drop. They're going to leave. They're not going to advocate. They don't even retain with the product. So you have two strategies. You either reduce the promise, you make the promise way weaker, than the gap between what you're promising, which is way lower, and the product you're delivering is either at par or even better. Maybe you can over deliver, but then your promise is super weak. The moment that the top of funnel is comparing your product with another that has a higher promise, they're going to go to the other promised product, right? They're not going to stay with you. So your conversion is also going to go down. Or you put your promise really high, but then the product needs to be extremely good so that the gap is significantly smaller and your retention is up. right? So you need to decide where you are. But the most important thing I say to people is I'm not saying that your promise needs to be here or here, so up or down. What I'm saying to people is like that gap needs to be as small as possible. And of course, if your promise is up there, then the likelihood that you win against your competitors is much higher. But then your demand or your bar for the product quality needs to be very, very high. So I'd say like that for me is a core principle that drives everything. And if you want, then Mallory, you talked about evangelizing or advocating or being a champion of your product. You know where you're going to get that if then you're delivering on an amazing promise, right? That's where that's the other gap. The first gap is retention. The second gap, which is the difference between the product delivery and the promise that sales or growth gave to the user, is the gap of advocate or of championing the product. The more it is, a lot of people talk about the perceived value and the price they pay. If the perceived value of a product is significantly higher than the price people pay, that gap defines how big of an advocate you're going to be for a product, right? In vibe coding, you're seeing a lot of that, right? Like people say, oh, you can build like with prompts or in seconds or with no technical skills. And then you go and you type something and something amazing shows up. Of course, you're going to advocate for that because like they promised something, but it delivered beyond that. So, I mean, answering, Mallory, I don't know if I answered your question.
No,
but like,
it totally answered my question. I think that totally answered my question. I think it's interesting too, because I would say as someone who, you know, has been a marketer in the AI space, there's a lot of, I would say, hype-based marketing sort of taking place. And so what becomes dangerous is exactly what you pointed out, right? Is if you overpromise and underdeliver, consumers are smart. They're going to know that. And they're going to essentially leave your product. They're not going to come back.
100%. There's nothing like the hard-earned money that you're going to spend on a product. And that's why I say like retention speaks louder than everything else, right? Either people stay with it. There's a reason why. So I have a friend called Sean Ellis. Sean created what's called growth hacking, right? And there's a reason why retention hacking doesn't exist. Because you can hack growth, you can do a lot of circus to bring people to get them to convert. But in the end of the day, you can't hack retention. Only great products hack retention, right? So in the end, you see a lot of these companies now reporting on how fast they get to millions of ARR in X amount of months. And you know what? No one talks about the retention level. Some of the smartest do. They talk about the retention, they talk about the renewals, they talk about the ACVs, but the rest, the long tail now, they like to talk about the growth hacking of their millions, but in the end, the product needs to speak. It's that retained revenue that really matters.
It needs to sustain itself. Yeah.
So you talk about a promise. I hear offer. How would a founder come up with a very strong offer? Like, are there a couple steps to that or promise or how would that work?
There are. Yeah. So first of all, and I mentioned this earlier, it's like you need to understand who you're solving a problem to. And when I say understand, it's not just talking with the people who are going to buy. And by the way, 80 or 90% of founders don't even talk with the people who are buying their products. They just infer and assume. And first professional lesson I got was like, never assume, it makes an ass out of you and me. So they assume and then they believe they know everything about them. They create the product and the landing pages and whatnot, and they think the job is done there. So level one is like, you got to talk with the people. But when I say you need to understand, it's like, you need to understand the small details that will make them buy, that will make them use, the small things, the small promises that the other products who are solving the problem you're aiming to solve are failing. Because like, I usually, kind of a joke is like, every problem has been solved. But the majority of problems, they've been solved inefficiently and ineffectively. And you have an opportunity to do it better. But people, they're already solving their problems some way, right? What you're trying to do is to get them a better, newer, more convenient, faster way of solving a problem that now is being solved by a way that is no longer the thing or the way you should solve it, right? But if you don't really understand in detail what they care about, what really stands out about the solutions you use and the things that are failing. If you don't understand what will make people switch, the other people around them that will influence their decision to switching, the emotional baggage they bring, the gaps that they really care about, the fears they have from switching. Like if you don't understand that in detail, there's no way you're going to build a promise, an offer, a value proposition that people will say, this is worth it. And I think it's 0 to 1 from Peter Thiel or some book that talks about the 10x or the 9x effort that you need to put in value for people to switch. It's really true. The majority of people, like most companies or most founders' biggest competitor is not a product that looks like them. It's people being lazy. It's people fearing the change or the friction of having to like go through a learning curve, right? Like that is the true thing you're competing with. And if you don't deeply understand, you're never going to be able to build a value proposition or a promise that people will look at it and say, yep, this is the thing. This is what I want to switch from whatever I use, dedicate time, spend the money, stay with it, learn, become great at using and solving my problem. That is how, this is the thing. Like everything else, it's a technical skill that you learn on the job kind of, but this thing will be the difference.
So, I mean, you're essentially talking to, Andre, like product market fit, right? Like how you demonstrate that to somebody. So if there's 6 pillars of a product market fit, like a message, a sales narrative, onboarding, support, referrability, just naming a few, where would you make a recommendation if something is breaking to somebody where they should audit it, right? Because you even mentioned it before. So anybody can create a landing page, anyone can create a product, throw it out there and just kind of hope for the best, right? But if it's not functioning the way they intend to, or the market fit isn't there, where should they be looking at first?
Yeah, so I'll go a step before that. Like, and I push a lot on this because you'd be surprised how many companies, and I work with a VC, right? So and it's a very early stage VC, so we get to see a lot of early stage founders. And I'm on the product side, I'm an advisor, and one of the things when I'm talking with either portfolio companies or prospective companies for us to invest, one of the things I focus a lot is like not only how the product looks like and kind of auditing the quality of the product, but also understanding what they did to get to that product, not from a technical perspective, but from a human perspective. It's like, what steps did you take to really deeply understand the market? What steps did you take to understand what messages resonate with people and what led them to buy something or not to buy something? And how much time did you spend with people? I think that is beyond all pillars, beyond all the theory. And there's great people talking about product market fit, from the guys from Reforge to Andrew Chen at A16Z. Like, they have amazing articles on product market fit. But I think in the end, it's being super close to the people you're trying to sell something, and then seeing them use, especially early ones, seeing them use your product and seeing them fail at using your product, that you get to iterate. Let me tell you a quick story. Like, one of the startups, last startup that I helped build, Kitch, we launched this in 2019. It was cloud kitchens, like dark kitchens. We wanted to kind of reinvent food delivery for high-end restaurants, not high-end as luxury, but like we call it high-end, but in the end is like, think about the restaurants that we all love, that you can't go if you don't book it. Like, you know, it's going to be a line, you're going to spend a lot of time waiting. Like, imagine those. So when we launched our product, we launched our first kitchen. We made a very cool decision, which is like, we're going to reallocate our office into the kitchen. Like, we're going to work from the kitchen, in the middle of all the restaurants working there. Why? Because we needed to see them using our product. We needed to see when the product failed. We needed to see the kitchen staff not being able to click the tablets because their hands were greasy and those tablets didn't work. We needed to see that the buttons were too small for them in the rush of like delivery and in the mud of like orders coming in and the food being late and like a lot of couriers back pressuring people because they also make money on the delivery, like them not being able to click stuff and being super stressed and then dropping stuff from the kitchen, having to clean. Like, we needed to see that to see where the product was failing. So I think the best way of understanding how to get to product market fit is to be as close to the customers you're trying to sell to using your product or other products and seeing where it's failing. And it's fixing those failing things that you'll get to product market fit. A lot of people talk, oh, but what about the delightful stuff? What about the features that others don't have? Yeah, that also works. A story I learned a long time ago is like, look, if you go to a hotel, imagine the hotel had to decide either to have your favorite cookies on the reception, which is delightful, it's amazing, but then they wouldn't have hot water for a bath in the end of a day of traveling. You'd hate the hotel, even if they had the perfect cookies in the reception, right? So you need to fix the pipes, you need to fix the hot water. And then if you have a bit of time, get them a cookie. That's great.
Then they can get the shiny things, right?
Exactly.
That the surprise and delight moments that I think a lot of founders obsess over that come after product market fit, after retaining the user, right? Like, such a great point. And I think everything you just explained is a great and brilliant example of being customer obsessed, which, by the way, you said a stat earlier, around 80 to 90% of founders do not talk to customers, or I've never heard that stat. That's crazy to me.
It is. It's insane. Because like, remember, and by the way, the VC ecosystem doesn't help either, because when we're trying to assess a product or a company to invest, we focus a lot on like, what did you build? What traction do you have? Like, what's your revenue right now? Like, how complex is your software, your product? Like, how big is your team? No one asks like, how much time are you spending with customers? How much time are you spending learning about them? How much more do you know versus your competitor? And what are the details that you uncover that will make your product win where others are failing or not delivering at full capacity? Like, we never ask these type of things. So that creates that loop of like, no, I need to build. Like, I don't have time to speak with people, which means I need to find them. I need to go to them. I need to set a call. I need to get their time. I need to sell their time to me so that they are convinced. No one does that because it's way easier to just code stuff or to build stuff or to write stuff. So that's why, and I get it. Look, it's very comfortable not having to do that and kind of praying that whatever you build resonates, converts. And if not, I'll just find new acquisition channels. That's why in the end of the day, like, a lot of people have a bad optic of SEO because why? Because it takes time. Because SEO is in the end something that really shows if the product's good or not. Like, people search. First, you need to show up. Then they go to the landing page. You need to be good enough for them to convert. And if they don't, they leave, which means you're getting deranked because you get exit rates, right? It doesn't happen with other channels where you can kind of open a tab and like people come in and maybe you convert a few, but it doesn't matter because the conversion rates are also low. So look, in the end, I think it ends up on this, which is like, you got to really understand customers. You got to spend time. It's worth it to spend time talking with them.
Do you find, Andre, that a really, really good trait of a founder is a founder market fit? And if so, can you name 2 or 3 other great traits of successful founders that you found?
So I'm going to talk solely about the founders I work with and the things that I've gotten feedback that works out for me. That's my population or my data set, right? I think unbelievable, like, energy is definitely one. Like, there's the average person has no energy. They have no energy. And I get it. Look, I don't know. You've been taught that a job is a necessary evil in your life. Nobody tells you like you should love your job, you should feel like it creates energy for you, etc. Nobody teaches you that. They say you gotta work because you gotta make the money to pay the bills so you can survive until the weekend, so you can like be very happy on Friday night and Saturday and be very depressed on Sunday because nobody loves Mondays, right? That's what you're taught, right? And you internalize that, and of course you have low energy because like you're not supposed to enjoy what you're doing, right? But then you see a number of people that have high energy. Actually, a lot of people came to me. I'm a high energy by default. And people come to me, I love your energy. It's like, no, you shouldn't love my energy. My energy should be the standard or the default. Unfortunately, it isn't. So they say, oh, I love your energy why? Because you're not used to seeing it. And that sucks. Mm-hmm. Like, you should be used to seeing it. So I think energy is definitely one because energy propagates, right? Like you infect people when you're energetic. You make people believe they can also be, they're allowed to be. It's supposed to get them to perform, right? So I think energy is definitely one. Number two, I would say crazy curiosity to like learn something, like obsessed about something. And it can go from like how another founder that you read online or read a book about does stuff and you become super curious, to the smallest detail that some IC person in your team, an individual contributor, is working on, and you want to geek out on that because they'll feel valued about that. But your ability to be very curious and wanting to like really desire to learn something is amazing because look, a big part of a founder's role, let's say a founder that's building a company that's hiring people and talent, like a big part's going to be hiring others. And one big flaw that a lot of founders end up having is like they don't know enough of a specific field that they need to hire for. So they don't know what they should be hiring for. They can't evaluate how good this person is going to be unless you become super curious about that area and you delve really deep into it and you start learning everything about it and you hire a great person because you can connect with them. You can differentiate what's like just surface level understanding and a great story from deep understanding that will enable this person to build the next version of the engine of that specific area. So I'd say curiosity is another one. And then like the third one is, I'm Portuguese. We have an expression, I'm not going to say here, but the best translation to it, it doesn't sound as bad in Portuguese, but it's like the ability to unshit yourself, which is like, you just find a way.
I like that.
You just find a way. And that is applied to literally everything. You find a way.
Yeah.
There's always more than one way, and you have an uncanny way of finding a way. And you surprise literally everyone that you are able to unshit yourself from any situation, whatever it is. Is it going to be perfect? No, it's not going to be perfect. Could it have been better if you had more knowledge, more time, or more experience? Yeah, 100%. But you don't have those. You find a way. So I'd say these three things make up three traits. It's not like skills. It's not the IQ above X, Y, or Z, even though all the founders I worked with super smart. This is going to make the difference, I'd say.
That's amazing. It's interesting too, because before we started the pod, I know, Charlie, we were talking about we were just talking about our generation or just like founder energy in general and how important it is to just like get out there and try and solve the problem yourself and fix it yourself and have that sort of, I don't know what the word is, but
mentality.
Just figure it out.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you just find a fucking way to just figure it out and don't complain about it.
Yeah.
Just move forward.
And there's literally a need of being kind of fearless. Look, I'm a surfer, right? I'm Portuguese. A lot of Portuguese people are surfers, right? Like we live near the beach. And there's a funny thing, which is like, for people who don't surf, this is going to sound really weird. But for people who surf, if anyone watching this or listening to this surfs, they'll know what I'm talking about, which is like when you're surfing, you're getting the waves in, you're paddling out, waves are coming in. And just by the color of the wave growing, like as it grows, it changes color because it's going to be reflecting light. Just by the color of the wave, you know if it's going to break too far, meaning you're going to be kicked off into the near the beach, or if it's like you're not going to be able to catch it because it's going to be breaking already too late for you. Like just by the color of the wave as it grows, it's a weird involuntary reflex as you're surfing, right? Why am I using this analogy? Because a lot of times, at that moment, through the collar, that it's going to break on top of you or ahead of you or in front of you, and you're going to have to deal with that. It's going to suck. If the waves are big, it's going to suck. And at that moment, like there's two types of surfers. There's the surfers who start paddling back because they want to escape. And there's the surfers who sometimes they just sit on their boards, they smile and say, yep, this is life. I'm going to be completely hammered, but that's why I'm here. And I think in a lot of situations, when you're building a product, when you're building a company, you got to be fearless at seeing the wave breaking in front of you, and you're going to get hammered, but that needs to be something that you smile at. Because look, if you don't like the lows, you don't deserve the highs, right? That's it. That's how it works. You're building companies, when you're building products, when you're leading something, you got to smile at the wave. Like we had situations that were insane. Like a very quick story. When we were building Kitch, so this food delivery company, we built an entire dark kitchen, was amazing. We built amazing software, right? And we launched this, no joke, on March 13th, a Friday, which is, by the way, you never launch products on a Friday. That's rule number one. And you never launch products on a Friday the 13th. That's the unluckiest day in the world. And we did both, right? And this was 2020. And for people who remember, March 2020 was when at least the Europe side of the world closed.
Yep.
Literally, it was on March 2020. And it was specifically in Portugal, in this case, March 13th. That's when our prime minister came on TV and said, next Sunday, everything is closing. And remember, we're doing dark kitchens. If you think about the problem that dark kitchens are solving, it's the capacity that restaurants don't have to do food delivery. You know what? On that morning, The morning we're launching our product, every single restaurant became a dark kitchen and our dark kitchens became completely useless.
Wow.
And at that moment, like every customer actually called us and said, we don't need you anymore. Thank you very much. Our company basically technically went bankrupt on those kind of 10 minutes of the prime minister going on national TV. And that moment was like, this is it. This is a moment where you need to be fearless and you need to look at your team and say, we're going to find a way. You had two options. You're going to say like, okay, we're screwed up. We're going to close the company. There's nothing we can do. Or you can say like, we're going to find a way. And we found a way. But that fearless moment, you need to realize that's going to be a wave that's breaking on, like the collar is there and it's going to be hammering you. It's going to be, you're going down. You got to hold your breath. You know that you'll float up, but you're going to suffer a bit. But it's those who understand that don't
gotta do
back.
the turtle roll.
You gotta go turtle move.
Let the wave go above you. Hold your breath.
Let the board go if you have no one. Like you gotta deal with it. But you gotta realize, and by the way, there's an extra there, Mallory. You're right. It's just like, then you're gonna go up and you have, again, two options. You decide, that sucked. I'm going to leave and I'm going to surf, or I survived. I want to get the next one.
And I'm going to go paddle back out there.
Paddle back out.
Yep.
So that's the fearless mindset you also need to have, because that wave is going to hit you again.
And the resilience. It's like the fearless, it's like, but it's the resilience too, right?
Yeah,
of being
100%.
like, I got fucked up in this wave and I'm going to get back up and I'm going to do it again. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it, right?
Yeah,
Even if it was a
game.
bad wave or a good wave, which by the way, I also love to surf. I would love to surf in Portugal. That is like,
it's amazing.
that is
That'd
a
be
dream.
wild.
So that's on my list. But
by the way, next Saturday,
that.
giant waves in Nazareth are coming in. So it's going to be 20-meter waves next Saturday.
Wait
so
a minute.
It's also awesome.
Wow.
You have not surfed Nazareth.
I know. No, I don't surf that. I don't
Okay,
surf that for
okay.
sure. No way.
Here in the Bay Area, we have something equivalent called Mavericks. So
I know Mavericks.
I think Nazareth is much bigger, but definitely we've got the big waves here too.
Love to see the Mavericks wave. It's amazing.
Isn't there a correlation between founders and like extreme sports and like being successful in startups? Like I thought I read that somewhere.
Probably it makes sense. You gotta be insane.
Perseverance,
because it's about the risk, right? Like if you're gonna do an extreme sport, there's a lot of risk involved. So is starting a company, right? So there's probably definitely a correlation.
That
there,
and like fast decision making, right? Like I do downhill mountain biking, so you have like a split second to just
So speaking of Kitch too, so it sounded like at the time a pivot was needed to, like you needed to pivot with the pandemic, and so what was that like at Kitch?
Yeah, that was insane. So going back to that Friday the 13th, like at that moment, I usually tell the story, which is like why you need a 1% of 1% team to win. At that moment, the team realized like our product no longer works. Technically, the value proposition's gone. Like not because you built a bad product, but because the world changed. It just changed really fast. For the majority of companies, it takes months or years to change, which gives you a bit of time if you're smart to pivot and understand where the market's changing, etc. Like you talk about SEO. I mean, if an agency or any SEO product hasn't changed in the last 2 or 3 years, I mean, they're dead. I don't even know who's paying them. Maybe a legacy company who forgot that they're paying them, maybe. But like new companies are not going to hire a company that didn't evolve in the SEO game in the last year or two. Yeah. For us, that happened, but it happened in 10 minutes. Right. So what happened was the team, you again, decision number one after that moment, you could have said to the team, look, guys, we're exhausted. We made an amazing work. It's Friday. Let's take the weekend. On Monday, we'll regroup. We'll find new customers. Right. That's what 99% would do. 1%, which was what we did, said, nope, it's gone. Like our value proposition is gone. We got to shift. We got to change what we do. Period. That led us to second decision, which is like, okay, you decided we got to change. Perfect. Again, 99% of companies would say, all right, we're not going to do this on a Friday afternoon, right? Again, we regroup on Monday. We're going to find a new product, a new value proposition, and we're going to go hard at it. Not us. We said, again, 1% would do, and we're going to start working on that now. And we have an insane deadline to deliver something. And the insane deadline, which during 24 hours, which by the way was our deadline, 24 hours from Friday to Saturday, the team hated me, but I didn't care because it was at that moment that made a difference. And I said, look, guys, tomorrow we need to have something. And a lot of people, they try to define the scope, so what they're going to work, and then define the timeline. I prefer to do the other way around, which is like you define an insane deadline, and then you understand what scope fits that insane deadline. right? That's what we kind of did. Our pivot was actually simpler than it seems because we realized, look, we built an amazing dark kitchen and great software for our dark kitchen. The dark kitchen is no longer valuable for our customers, but suddenly every restaurant is a dark kitchen. And you know what? Those restaurants never had software to run as a dark kitchen. So we asked, what if we actually brought our software into their kitchens and helped them with this transition, which is very likely insane for them as well. And suddenly our addressable market went from, I don't know, top 1,000 restaurants in a country which have great ratings, queue at the door, etc., to every single restaurant who wants to survive in a pandemic and needs to do food delivery. So that was the shift, and went software first rather than software second, and our kitchens were kind of phased out from the value, and that led us to a lot of growth. Yeah.
So Andre, your career, you've been a part of bootstrap companies and VCs, and we mentioned this briefly before we hit record on here. Can you talk more about that, the differences, the pros and cons? Any advice you can share with our viewers?
Yeah. So just to give a bit of context, right now I'm building products, I'm building businesses, or I build products that hopefully turn into businesses, and I'm doing that in a bit of a holdco play, meaning that I have a company called Very Big Product Company, tvbpc.com. And what we do is we kind of incubate our own ideas, what we believe are products that could fit the narrative or thesis that could change a community, change someone's world, change a business line, change a problem set. And we try to build them. But we don't raise money. We use the profits of other companies to fund new businesses, new ventures, right? What's the pro? Well, we are not going to be spending time raising money, which takes a lot of your focus from building the product, knowing your customer, tackling the business head on. You're going to be spending a lot of time hearing a lot of no's from VCs, talking with them, explaining, telling the story again and again and again, maybe iterating a bit, but most don't iterate. We just go in more and more and more and feed the pipeline, top funnel, gets to a few VCs that write the check, right? We don't need to do that. What's a con? You grow a lot slower because you can't fund growth. You can't fund a lot of hiring. You can't fund a lot of AdWords or Meta, Facebook ads, whatever. You can't do that. So you got to be very mindful about where you put your money. And two, you don't have a lot of budget to experiment and do all the channel acquisition and try a lot of different things and see what sticks. You're going to be very mindful about the P&L. So you're going to be experimenting a bit, but you need to be very fast at finding something that is profitable enough, at least at the unit economic level, to really invest. Otherwise, you find your power channel, you're going to be investing there. But again, power channels, they have a logarithmic curve. I mean, you hit the plateau very fast. To keep getting them to grow, it's much harder. So you just manage growth in a very different way. A pro, so I'm going to go pros and cons like this. I'm not going to go to too many, but a pro is that when you raise money, look, I don't know if a lot of founders realize this, but like when you raise money, there's two numbers that matter, right? Like the amount you raised and the valuation that you end up with. People focus a lot on the money they need to raise, but what they don't realize is that the valuation is not just the number your company is worth now, is 1/10 of the value that the people who put money expect it to be in 4 to 8 years. Meaning that if you raise like 2 or 3 million, or let's go with current numbers, 20 million, which is now like a seed raise, 20 million worth 80 million, which is like a 20% dilution or close. I'm not going to do live math, but like, let's imagine 15% dilution. That means those investors expect your company to be worth 800 million in the next 4 to 8 years. And a lot of people realize that is insane, right? When you're promising a 5 to 10x, generally a 10x, especially early stage growth on evaluation. And by the way, yeah, a lot of VCs, they focus on the valuation on raise because they can raise on paper returns. But there's many VCs who then expect liquidity, right? Like, so 800 million on a liquid, like it's insane growth. I was watching some company out there, I don't remember which, but it's like the company's at 500 million ARR and it's trading on public markets at 1 billion. That means 2 times ARR, which is insane. Like it's literally your revenue, your valuation is 2 times the money you're making.
Yeah.
This is just to put in perspective that the pro of not having to raise money is you don't owe a 10x to anyone other than yourself. And then you decide to put how much pressure you want to put on yourself. That's up to you. Like, you can put a lot of pressure, but like, you're not going to do a board meeting with yourself where you're going to hit yourself on the head because you're not meeting the targets. Like, you don't do that, right? The con on the VC is like, yeah, you're gonna stress a lot more. You got to deliver on that growth. That means you're gonna be digging not your grave. It's a bit aggressive, but like, you need to deliver on the growth, which means you need to hire people. If you need to hire people, now you're responsible with that person, with guaranteeing that person earns the money they're worth. You're going to hire more people. You're going to manage more people. You're going to manage more problems, more situations, which are human situations you need to deal with, which will take your focus from the product, from the business, from your customers. I mean, it's part of the game, right?
You're going to stress, to your investors, right? You spend more time thinking about your investors, going back to just 100%. Fundraising and how much time that takes. It takes so much time.
It takes
and
a
to
long
your point,
time.
Right? It's like, now that's time away from obsessing over the customers and the product.
100%.
I've never really heard that.
Let me just say
Andre,
this, because I want to say something that a lot of people who've never went through the VC game, they don't realize, which is like, there's only one thing worse than getting a no from a VC or not being able to raise from a VC. It's having your VCs no longer caring about you. Like, it's like your dad abandons you. I'm not joking. I've asked founders and they feel this, which is like the worst thing. The worst thing than delivering bad news to a VC is getting the VC to no longer care about your bad news. Because like, they've written off their investment. They now have new children with a new family, which is their new investments that they love more than they love you. Like, that destroys a VC founder, which again is a con. The pro is you don't have that kind of family that will eventually abandon you unless you IPO and make them a lot of money, which the majority of companies don't. So like, sorry, Connor, I interrupted you, but like, this is something that you need to realize when you go into the VC game.
It's such a fresh take on it, right? That I feel like we typically don't hear, and it's just insightful. And I think the other thing too, though, right? It sounds like if you don't go the VC route, again, it's a little more bootstrap, and you have to really be ready to kind of pivot, because if you're pulling funds from other entities, other businesses, you have to be really smart, right? Like mentioning what you're doing on the marketing side, where, listen, I work with clients and it's like, yeah, we'll give it 90, 120 days, 150 days to start proving a point. It seems like you don't have the luxury of being able to wait that long when it comes to pulling. 100%. Like, you have to be ready to make a move based on just initial analytics and metrics that you get, and just be smarter with it.
Yeah, no, 100%. And look, one of the things, this doesn't work for everyone. Keep that in mind. But like, one of the things that I love about being, I'm going to say I'm a solopreneur in the sense that I'm a solo founder. I'm no longer a single employee, but I have a philosophy, which is companies of one, meaning that each of my companies, they either have one kind of full-time partner or a full-time FTE, a full-time person, but the rest is either workflows, AI, or like, I'll do with what I have. Like, I don't want to overgrow or need more than that. And I think like the difference between a VC-backed company that has the funds, raise the money, is that in the end of the day, you have a salary, right? If you're a solopreneur or a solo business owner, like, your salary is your ability to sell. And your ability to sell correlates directly with your ability to find ways to convert people into your product or service. And there's nothing more powerful than that, because that will make you prioritize things that will convert, things that sell, things that people care about. In a lot of my product orgs that I manage, there is a significant percentage. It's not a small one. Every product leader knows this. There's a significant percentage of BS roadmap, which is like stuff to stuff. It's like to stuff it in. Just to make busy work. It's like, this refactor of the product is really important. Or this new feature that nobody asked really matters. Or like, we're just going to improve this part of the product because we believe as a team that it should be better. Or we're going to rebrand something because it's like this since the beginning of the product and it feels old. It's like, nobody's asking about that. And you're going to say yes because you got to create, you got to create work. In solo businesses where you care about the P&L, I can guarantee you none of those will fly. Because like, it's trade-off. It's like doing that versus doing something else will get a customer in that will get you to convert or to sell, right? And if you don't, no salary in the end of the day. That's it. The beauty about this is that your salary now becomes uncapped, meaning that if you suddenly do $1 million of sales in that month, you just earn $1 million of gross salary. Well, it's not going to be gross salary, but you know what I mean. The salary in a company, even a VC company, is capped. That's it. So, I mean, you gotta understand that you're gonna live with this. I mean, that's one of the big differences between a VC company and a bootstrap, especially the smaller it is. It doesn't need to be small, it needs the smaller it is.
Yeah, oh, awesome.
Good stuff, Andre. As we're wrapping up here, can you tell us about Builders Camp?
Yeah, sure. So thanks for asking, Builders Camp. So funny story. We didn't start as Builders Camp. Actually, we just rebranded like a month ago to Builders Camp. We started this as 1 month PM. Like the company was called 1 month PM because when we were going through the pandemic, I realized, look, there's so many stuff to build. There was the first macro shift in the world, at least that I saw. I wasn't yet working, I was studying when the GFC, the global financial crisis hit. But like pandemic was a version of a macro shift, as was the depression or the recession there. And at that moment, like we were stuck at home. And I realized, at least I personally realized, there's so many products to be built because the world was transitioning or forced transitioning to a digital world, at least a remote first world, or businesses had to reinvent themselves to be able to serve the customers from a digital point of view. Then I realized, look, the world's going to need a lot more product managers, in the sense, not as a PM as a role, but people who understand how to build products, right? And I've designed a course, which is like, I can teach this like in a few sessions over a month. And I was thinking about names and like 1 month product manager, 1 month PM. Perfect. Domain is available. I'm just going to buy it and do a funny thing on the side. I was building my startup at the same time. Just going to do this side hustle here over the ends of days or weekends, and just going to teach people who want it. And I just launched it. And in the first 24 hours, sold out the first 3 months, which wasn't even incredible. It was like, I'm just going to do this for 1 month and see how it goes. First 24 hours on LinkedIn, sold for 3 first months. I was like, okay, this is funny, but this is never going to be a business. Like being transparent, the first month, it netted me like, I don't know, 3K. That's it. The first month, the first 3 months was like 8K. I was like, okay, it's good. It's money, side hustle. Sounds good. But it's never going to be a business. Like I can't replace my job. Then 4 years go by, company grew like significantly. Again, fully bootstrapped, 4,000 people joined, 30 professors are in, 35 boot camps. Wow. We're doing like community, we're doing a lot of stuff. Company's growing, it's grossing enough money to having me not have to work, actually tripling how much I made as a VP of product at the VC-backed company. So I go like, okay, this is a business. But the world, again, goes through a macro shift with AI. And suddenly, the one thing that kept literally anyone from building products themselves, which is the technical skills, is no longer, at least not as much as it was, a barrier, which is your ability to code. And suddenly, you don't even need to code. You can just prompt stuff up and it shows up. Now, the thing is, it became so easy to build stuff that you see a lot of product slop. The same way you see AI slop videos, you see a lot of product slop, which is like people just wrongly prompting tools like Bolt or Lovable or Replit, and products come up, they look amazing, but they're not good products. They're never going to convert. They're never going to be retained because people didn't think that from a product mindset. So what I realized is like, I need to continue my mission of teaching product, but now I need to bring the mission of teaching how to build alongside building product. And that's where the Builders Camp rebrand came in, which is like, I'm no longer teaching product managers, I'm teaching product builders. I mean, enabling people to either become a builder in your company, because that's how I saw the best product managers across the best companies having the right mindset of a builder. They weren't deterred by, oh, this can't be done or this technically is hard. No, they found a way, they unchat themselves, right? Or people who have a passion or a side hustle or a belief that they know something, they want to build it on the side, maybe become independent and make money like that. They become product builders, or maybe even equip founders, leaders to grow in their careers and get that builder mindset, become better at deploying capital, deploying resources, and changing the trajectory of their own companies from a P&L perspective. That's still a builder mindset. So Builders Camp comes in as this experience that will build your builder mindset and builder skills, from AI to the orbiting skill set like negotiation or product marketing or positioning or storytelling, all the things that you need to then choose your own path. Is it inside a company, outside a company, your own product, becoming an entrepreneur? We're going to give you the skill set. That's what Builders Camp does. Okay,
badass. Andre, as we wrap up here, thank you for taking a few moments out of your calendar. This has been freaking awesome. This has been great.
That was a pleasure.
Yeah, super
I learned a lot.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Mallory. Appreciate that.
Ton. And that concludes the interview. So tune in next week, everybody.
Yeah.
Peace.
Oh, wait,
Awesome.
really quickly. Where can the people find you, Andre? Sorry. I feel
Yeah.
like, where can the people follow you and find
Charlie,
you?
how dare you? That's a question.
No worries. So first, LinkedIn, that's where people can find me. I write a lot that. I didn't talk much about this, but like a lot of every single customer that came to Builders Camp and all the business, they came from my LinkedIn. So all acquisitions organic comes from my writing, my observations of what's happening, a lot of the stories that I told here. So LinkedIn, connect, DM me, happy to answer. I try to go through all the DMs as fast as I can. And then Builders Camp, builderscamp.com. Join if you're trying to become a builder. Join our membership. Here to support you. That's basically where you can find me.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Andre.
Awesome. It was a pleasure, guys. Appreciate everyone.
Hey guys, Connor here from Builders Growth Lab. If you're looking for a way to stay up to date on the latest episodes, marketing trends, and trends in AI, be sure to visit us at buildersgrowthlab.ai. There you can sign up for a newsletter, which is packed with tons of content that goes out weekly on the latest episodes, guests, marketing insights from people like myself, Mallory, and Charlie. So be sure to visit us at buildersgrowth.ai and sign up for the newsletter today.
Okay, that wraps up a great interview.
What an interview.
Andre, great dude, cool guy. Love his energy too. Like I think
he spoke about energy a lot.
I know.
You have to have that.
I loved that
as
personally as someone who's very big on that. I really am. I found it really refreshing to hear a man talk about it.
And you can tell too, he is just like, I even think he was probably being a little reserved for us, but it's just like the hand movements. When you talk with your hands a lot, I know you have a lot of energy.
Loved it.
So
loved it. So the pull quote, a couple takeaways. Ability to unshit yourself. Love that. Like I said, that's something like my old sales manager would say. And build on LinkedIn. Take SEO seriously. Build on LinkedIn and have the ability to unshit yourself.
Yeah.
Those are my
I think it's really impressive that he's been able to build his entire business just based off of LinkedIn. And I think even before we were recording, he was like, I don't really have like a deep secret on how I did it. Like I just invested in showing up on LinkedIn and sharing my thoughts there. So, I will say I meet a lot of founders. I think I just talked to one last week who doesn't want to post on LinkedIn because it's cringe, because it sucks. Because look, me personally, and I don't know if we've talked about this, I don't like LinkedIn, but to me, it's just like, no.
Why not?
How come?
Because I don't like, you guys are joking. You're joking with me right now. No, you're rage baiting me. This is a rage bait, right?
No.
I feel like it's a platform where everyone's circle jerking. Like, it's just like, here are the top 10 takeaways for how you take your SaaS product to the next level. And I'm like, it's just like, it just feels not real sometimes.
It's very it's very self-righteous and self-serving, and
but like, I know, and I have a lot of founders that tell me how much they don't like the platform. I don't either, and I relate to that, but you kind of have to get over it. You got to get over it, and because it's especially depending upon what you're building, it's like where customers are, right? And so showing up on these platforms, even if you don't necessarily like them, you gotta have to take that aside and show up, and get the fuck over it is really what is fun.
More or less is the best way to put it. You asking Mallory? Her thoughts on X?
What are your thoughts on X?
Well, she didn't like that either.
I don't like X. I don't like Elon. So
okay.
I'm a little bit of an Elon hater, and I will say I'm kind of proud because I've been an Elon hater since like 2015.
The OG.
When it wasn't even cool to hate him, and it's because I remember so vividly, like, because I started Discord 30 people, and I just remember like walking into our Burlingame office and like just seeing a line of Teslas out there, and it just felt like you made it in Silicon Valley if you had a Tesla. So it felt like this, like you're in the bros club or in the tech bros club, like if you have a Tesla. And so I automatically from day one did not like that vibe. And I know a lot of people who've worked with him and have said really like and it's not surprising. Like I feel like he's kind of created this really negative playbook for a lot of founders that if you're loud and you call people out, or if you lie about shit, like, and he's a great example, actually. Sorry, I'm going on a tangent now, of over promising and under delivering, especially with the very like last few sort of Tesla innovations that have come out. So I don't know. I feel like he kind of wants to take up the airways, whether it's bad press, good press, and has just kind of set this playbook and precedent for other founders that I think is just, I don't know, not original and not what the world needs. But anyways, Yes. So
I'm so glad I did not get one
sorry.
of those trucks. I am so glad. I had my name on
Hell
one.
no, that thing is ugly as fuck.
They're all just ugly too anyway, so
I
I
thought
don't
they
know.
actually looked kind of
At
cool,
least
but
the Tesla, like, you know what I mean? It's a solid car, but I feel like the Cybertruck, I'm like, anytime I see that thing, I just roll my eyes. I'm
I
like,
can't.
stop.
I'm
The thing
so
that freaks
glad I
me
didn't
out a
do
little
it.
bit about the Teslas, like when it's, a lot of Ubers around, well, everywhere, but a lot of Ubers are Teslas, and it's just like the humming that comes along with it. Like I feel like I'm about to be like abducted into like a space station when I hear it coming by. It's like that soft, slow hum, but I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
Never a big fan of those
Yeah.
cars, regardless.
Insurance companies won't even cover the truck now. Like
Oh, I
some
didn't know
companies won't
that.
even do that. Like that's wild to me. I had my name. I was kind of like,
You were thinking about it?
oh
I'm
yeah,
glad you did
I
it, Charlie.
had
I'm
my
glad
name
you
on
did it.
the like a production ticket or something, or like when it came out, and I thought I was like Bobby Big Wheel. Like I go to hockey and the
Bobby
locker room,
Big
like, oh
Wheel.
yeah, like I got my Tesla truck. Y'all can't fuck with me. Something like that. And I was like, I'm so
Charlie
Yeah.
really has one in the driveway right now, Mallory.
no,
It's just
no,
not-
absolutely not. I
Yeah.
cannot. Those are the
Yeah.
stupidest.
And then like,
Plus, my dad's a mechanic by trade, so he
mm,
would like when
Oh, it would drive him nuts. That's not
oh
a
yeah,
good
it
yeah
would be
idea.
such a hard car to even get the
yeah
fixes on, right?
he was like, what, you're gonna get a Tesla? He goes, because I'm gonna be the one to fix it, not you.
But anyway,
Yeah.
Steve,
Yeah.
such a
But
dad
anyways,
thing to
I
say.
know I was
Anyway,
talking about X really quick. And then we'll get back to the interview, but I just think that it has become a platform where the algorithms are shifting to be very hateful, and just like the type of content that's going to get eyeballs is rage bait type of content. I feel
Oh,
like
yeah.
the algorithms encourage that. And I'm just like, and this is not a new story, right? But like I just I'm not about it. And so, I'm on Twitter, I'm on X, but like I don't post often. And if you're a founder out there listening, it is definitely an important channel depending upon who you're targeting. But, it's just kind of like, it's just kind of how it is. What else I found really interesting about the interview, pivoting back, was his sort of breakdown on how he, during the pandemic, what do you call it? He calls them something kitchen, but
Dark kitchens.
Dark kitchens, thank you. About how he was just super involved in being customer obsessed with the dark kitchens and really understanding how all of the staff would actually use the software. Like I have not heard a founder in a while talk about like a story like that. And to me, it also reminds me of Brian Chesky at Airbnb, because as many of you probably know, like he lives in Airbnbs like full time. Like he doesn't have a home. Like he's constantly sort of just like talking to hosts. He's constantly testing the product, right?
Yeah.
So it was really, really cool to hear him talk about
That's
that.
cool.
I mean,
That's
it's
badass.
as close as you can get to the customer, right? It's like, I mean, you're
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
there watching what they're doing, seeing their pain points without them having to even tell you. You can just observe it and get your takeaways from that. So I thought that was awesome. Again, he touched on retention, which I thought was big. We don't hear about that often
Good point.
enough, right? It's like, yeah,
Mhm.
you can build something, it could be the best idea in the world, but if the churn is high and there's no retention, it's like,
Yeah.
what do you do after that? So I thought that was a really, really great point as well. And
Especially considering everyone's talking about, look at me, we got this ARR number of X amount,
Yep.
right? Like to
That's
me,
right.
retention is a key signal of how you're going to actually create a long-term sustainable business. So it's interesting to kind of hear him talk about that, because I have also seen the like hype around the metrics in the AI space be focused in one area and not retention.
Well, it's like the shiny thing, right? Like, you put all the big numbers up and it's like, wow, it's super impressive. But then behind the scenes or behind the curtain if it's a different story, then obviously
Yeah,
something's going wrong. So
I don't know if I can. Is that how it was at Bolt, Mallory? Like like month over month, it's just numbers growing. Like
Yeah, I mean, I
don't know
think
if I
like,
can
and
ask you that.
retention was something, yeah, I can't really share. No, it's okay. I can't really like share specific numbers, but like retention was something we absolutely tracked.
Yeah.
And I know for a fact that the business wanted to move in an enterprise direction, especially considering that like enterprise customers tend to have, longer retention
Yeah.
than a prosumer in this case. So especially in a vibe coding area where it's like there's a million of these tools, right? So, so it makes sense, but it was
Cool.
definitely something that we were obsessing over as well. It wasn't something though that was like externally shared, if that makes any sense.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, let's dive into last week in AI. First thing I saw this on YouTube. I was looking at hockey highlights, and like I was scrolling down on my phone, and I saw something posted from Google Workspace about you can now automate your workflow with agents with Google Workspace, which is freaking fantastic. So I'm a big fan of of G Suite, Google Workspace, whatever you want to call it,
Same.
between files, between emails, between docs to do this, do that. Now, like you can set the tone for an email, you can automate things. I think that is just fantastic.
I think it's definitely awesome, right? It saves a ton of, I mean, listen, even what I was talking about earlier in the episode, that what I want to build, I don't have to build, like people don't have to build certain things. I'm more curious about how much context it will pull from email conversations, right? Because if it's only reading the reply or the initial email without reading the rest of the email thread, I wonder what the output looks like for an actual response in an email.
Well,
right?
it would not be good.
Correct.
So we'll see. It's interesting because I'm looking at the launch video right now, and the top comment is like, Google just killed 100 startups. And if this actually works really well, that'll probably be the case, because I think there's so many startups that are trying to work on like the productivity workflow, right? And create and having agents sort of like automate that. So I could see that happening for sure if done well. But like we're already using Gmail, we're already using Google Calendar, and I can't tell you how much I hate scheduling things. I like finding times and whatever. Like it's a simple task, of course, but like it just takes up time. I'm like, if someone could automate that for me, like this would be great.
Even if I use Calendly, right? It's like it is small things, but right, if Workspace is smart enough to integrate an agent that just reads your calendar availability and then spits it out and schedules the time, right? Like without you having to touch anything. It's like my process right now. It's like, great, let's schedule a time. I go over to Calendly, I pull my link, I put it in a link in the email and send it out. Again, maybe it's 2 to 3 minutes, but 2 to 3 minutes compounds over time, right? Over a year. So it's all about time saving stuff. But
yeah. And then even the emails, like I feel like there's always amount of like personal touch I want to add so that I don't sound like I wrote everything in freaking AI speak. So I like to your point, Connor, right? Like I'm wondering how it's really going to take in the context of the entire thread and just like your entire inbox as a whole.
Right. Well, that's the one thing too. It's funny because whenever I use Claude a lot for writing, right? I'll come up with something and I'll throw it in there as the output. And I find that I have to constantly put another prompt in there to be like, hey, what I gave you is my tone, my voice, the way I typically write. I was like, what you gave me back was like way too polished, way too robotic. And I have to go through that at least 1 or 2 times for most things that I put in there. I am curious how it grabs that tone.
Yeah, I do that with LinkedIn and X, of course. So ChatGPT Pro is announced at $200 a month.
Yikes.
And it seems a little aggressive to me.
Yeah,
like what are your thoughts?
I had a friend. It's so funny because I had a friend this past weekend. I at a white elephant party who works at OpenAI, and we were actually talking about this. We were talking about a few things actually, but we're talking about this in particular. And he was like, aren't you paying for like the $200 plan? I'm like, the $200, I'm not paying for the $200 plan. Like,
wild.
It's probably legit and amazing, but I already get value from, and I think he said that too, because like I ran out of agent credits and he was shocked at that. He's like, really, you ran out of agent credits? Wow. Like, I don't feel like a lot of people are like kind of like, they're still learning how to really use agents was what he was telling me. And that like, deep research, as an example was like, a better agent for me to use like with the products or projects I was really working on. So I think even me as a consumer and I know this space really well. I don't know if I've been using it correctly. I'll learn how to do it. But I just like, unless you're a business, I just don't see the everyday person paying $200 a month for ChatGPT. I could be totally wrong, because here's the other thing too. In the last week, a lot of my friends, and you probably, maybe I'm in my own bubble because I'm in San Francisco. So you guys got to correct me, but there are so many people here that just use it all day, every day for health, for, personal use, for professional use, right? And so I wonder if it's like people are so reliant on these tools for just all these different use cases that it'll become like a reasonable price. But in this economy, it doesn't feel like it.
In this economy?
It doesn't feel like it.
No. And the thing is, do either of you know, what's the extra value you get for paying 10 times what you're paying for the price of Plus? Like, what do you get out of it? What, more usage? Like, cool, great. Like, other than that, I don't know what else you're getting. I haven't really looked at it, but it just seems a bit over the top in terms of price.
Not sure.
I have the breakdown right here, but to me, it's no different than what you would really get with Plus. Like, it feels like it just tells me everything would operate better. Like, master advanced tasks and topics for $200 a month. Tackle big projects with unlimited messages. create high quality images at any scale. I can already do that on the Plus plan. I can already do that. Keep full context with maximum memory. It already does
Doesn't it
that.
already do that?
What I could see them doing though, and this is just this is actually from experience from yesterday. I was in Claude doing script work again for something, and probably by, I don't know, I was maybe 15 minutes into it going back and forth, and it was so slow and laggy and just was not like, I was getting so frustrated. I was like, okay, let me try chat. And chat was functioning much better, but I almost wonder if there's a play here where they're going to like purposefully start lagging things in terms of output and what you get, unless you go on the $200 or more expensive plan, right?
You know what?
Like,
that's interesting because I've had the same experience, but I thought it was my internet, or like I thought it was like maybe a conversation I was in had too many messages or too much context that it starts to slow down. So then I start a new chat and then it actually works again. But I've had similar issues too.
I've had that come up, with like show ideas and like.
So I wonder if that's their ploy in terms of, you want, because now everybody, especially people who are trained on using it, right? It's like we all use it almost every day. And it's like, I use it with the expectation of like, I want my output like that, right? I don't want to wait. I don't want to like, I want it now. And going through that lagginess yesterday, I was so frustrated from a user standpoint where I'm actually willing to bet if they said, hey, for $100 a month, you'll get it lightning speed, etc., you might be able to pull me on that just because of how fast the turnaround is. But which isn't really fair, because why was the output great 2 months ago for $20 and now you're going to charge me for the $200.
It makes, I don't know. I don't get it. And like I shared a screenshot here in the chat, and maybe we can put it into the video of of what's provided in the $20 versus the $200 subscription plan, but it doesn't seem to be any different. I do see a mention on Sora video creation, so I think that you'll be able to create video content with the Pro plan in particular. But to me, this is like, I don't know. I guess I just don't understand.
I'm looking. I have this up on screen share for those who are watching, and it's like, I don't know. Solve complex problems.
It's like, okay, maximize your productivity. Okay, but that doesn't mean anything. I don't like money wise. What does that mean?
It really scares me. It makes me feel like it's like the ploy, like what I went through yesterday.
Where's the value of it, right?
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see.
Interesting.
But I'm not convinced that consumers are in a place right now to be spending $200 a month, unless like you're a super user and you're like, you've got a business and your business can pay for it, but not for
Enterprise
a personal plan.
Yeah.
Yes.
For a personal plan,
totally.
No, I don't think so. Which brings us to the last point. We've talked about this a couple of times. Are we in an AI bubble? If so, what will it look? How will we know when it's popped?
That's a great question. I don't know. I mean, what do you guys think? Do you guys think we're in an AI bubble?
Yeah, I think so. I think, I'm just, it's almost like waiting for the other shoe to drop. I just don't know what it looks like when it happens.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, look, I think that just reading through some of this stuff, I know that the top, 7 companies on the NASDAQ, that are carrying the market right now, their valuations to some extent, I think, have like skyrocketed because of their investments in AI. And unfortunately, what's happening right now is you're not seeing that short-term return. You're not seeing that return come through right now. And so there's a lot of fear around the bubble popping next year. I'm continuing to see more and more content about it. But I don't know. We'll see. I think that the technology is actually quite useful and innovative. But at the same time, we're not seeing these early sort of profitable returns from, I think, these bigger companies. And that could really, like, if that, shifts, that could really sort of tank the economy. So we'll see. But like to the everyday consumer in person, a lot of folks don't even invest in the stock market. So perhaps it won't affect them in that way, but in a way it will affect them is, I don't know if you guys know this, but like in the last 12 months, there's just been a ton of layoffs, a lot more than usual. And we're not seeing, a higher sort of creation of jobs on a monthly basis. And so I think consumers will start feeling it from the lack of opportunity that will present itself in the next, 12 to 24 months. And it's already happening.
Yeah.
But I think
it already has
happened
more
of it,
with
right?
GDP, and it's affected. I think I heard Reuters say it was like 3% of GDP or something like that, that's bananas to me. I think might have been.
And I'm worried about these founders. Like these founders have raised like the valuations right now, and the amount of money that founders are raising in this space is crazy. And
it's
so
insane.
I do worry about, and I think Christian, who we interviewed recently, I think he said the same thing, right? I'm worried about my founder friends because I think reality will be quite bleak in the next 12 months. And I hope that's not fear mongering. We don't know, but I don't know. I think like OpenAI coming out and being like, we got to pull all the stops to make our product better. And Google sort of just like making huge strides, like it's going to be really hard to be a standout sort of AI product. So
I think, these incumbents start moving, start shipping faster, agents, whatever it is. That destroys a lot, but maybe it's a good thing. Maybe, pivot. Maybe you can introduce like a new feature or an ARM extension of, an appendage of your app or something like that. Maybe it's not all entirely bad.
No, not at all. I think we're just going to figure out how to pivot and change. And, Andre talked about this in his interview, right? Of like one day, right, with the pandemic, his entire business was like obsolete. And so he had to pivot in like no time to make it not obsolete, right? So I think that a lot of founders will maybe find themselves in that place, but that doesn't mean, failure is, inevitable. It's more so like, how can you actually adapt to the change and be resilient there?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Good stuff. Cool. That does it for episode 29. Find us on
awesome
YouTube.
episode.
Yeah, great episode. Banger. Find us on X, find us on LinkedIn, find us at buildersgrowthlab.ai. Hop in the newsletter, and we'll be back next week. Peace.
See you all next week.
Bye, everybody.